You're listening to WCBG. WCBG is broadcasted from Wagner College in Staten Island, New York. Today's interview is with Cora and Danny from the band the Everafter from Yonkers, New York. Stay tuned for an amazing interview from a band that I've been vibing with lately, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for wanting to do this with us. It's awesome.
Yeah, I recently heard your music, and honestly, I was so excited to see y'all are from New York. So.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, where in New York are you from?
So we're actually both from Long Island, out east, and we came up here to start college in Westchester County.
A few years ago.
Yeah, 2016. So, but our band, we formed our band in Yonkers, so we claim we're a Yonkers-based band. Yeah.
Okay. So, how'd you guys become a band?
So, you want to go? Or
yeah, sure. So we all have musical backgrounds in one form or another. But Rich, Ryan, and Danny all do the music program at Mercy. And I was the president of the Mercy College a cappella group. So Danny got to meet all these people through the music program, through Mercy, and I met a lot of them through a cappella and mutual friends. And we all just started to play music together, and we realized we had just this vibe going together. We just really connected well. We clicked well, and we wrote our first EP in a matter of
2 weeks.
Yeah, not
in
even.
my dorm room, freshman year. Yeah.
Because we just connected so well, and so we knew from the first song that we wrote that this was something that we really need to do, because we all love music, we all have that passion, and now we've found the right people to do it with.
Amazing. So this is respectively. You mentioned that you were part of the a cappella group. How did you get interested in singing? And you played drums, correct? How did you get to pick that as your instrument?
Yeah, so I play a couple instruments, but singing has always been my main thing. My dad sings. He's really good, and everyone in my family pretty much sings. And so I've just been singing since I was little. It just has been something that's come natural to me. I've never done lessons or anything. I love it. I have a passion for it. It's my favorite thing in the world. I feel right when I sing, and it's just been there since. And I know it's not really a fun, interesting story, but
still nice to have.
For me, it's pretty. Sorry, it's kind of a similar story for me. I kind of just when I was little, I took an interest in music really early on, probably when I was 7 or 8, and I actually started out playing guitar. I started taking community guitar lessons, and I don't know, one year it was for Christmas or my birthday, my parents bought me a tiny little first stack drum set, and I just it kind of just took off for me. I immediately decided that was the thing for me. And to this day, I still play guitar and bass. I take a huge part in our writing process, musically. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, I played drums in bands growing up in high school, and that just became my thing.
He's good at it too.
Thank you.
So we have a question that we were asked at our freshman orientation. If you could be any utensil in the kitchen, what would you be and why?
Whoa.
I know that I should say spork because it has more than one use, but I want to say knife so I can cut a bitch if I need it.
Wow. I don't know.
Spatula because it flips everything. Flip the game. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something creative.
Wow. I've never even thought about this. If I could be any utensil.
You're a plate because everything gets thrown on you.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. I take care of most of our business and marketing and branding and all the boring behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, all right, I'd be a plate because I handle a lot of things at once.
I'm the pretty decoration.
So what music are you guys currently listening to?
Okay, I have a very broad range of genres that I listen to. I like everything. So I love State Champs, Neck Deep, Knuckle Puck, Wonder Years, but I also love Taylor Swift, John Mayer, the Lumineers, Beatles. I mean, I knock loose. I can listen to really anything, but those are definitely a lot of the main things that I've been listening to as of recently.
For me, I have like my classics, same kind of thing. My favorite band is Bayside.
Love
They're like
Bayside.
all time my favorite band. I always go back to the like the emo roots, like Taking Back Sunday. You know what I mean? That whole realm of music. But I also like my day to day changes every once in a while, and it's a lot of times based on bands, upcoming bands that we like play with or that like we want to play with. So we recently just played probably like the biggest show we played as a band, which was with Sleep on It, Bearings, Between You and Me, and Never Kept. So like this past week I've been like only jamming those bands.
And Hot Mulligan. You've been listening to a lot of Hot Mulligan.
Stand Atlantic's like one of my current favorite bands. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been vibing.
They're all great bands. I love asking this question because I feel like I need to expand my own library of music. I've kind of been stuck in a genre.
Yeah.
It needs to stop.
Yeah, I have that problem all the time.
Not me. I pride myself in that.
Yeah, even though I'm station manager, like I probably should listen to a lot of different things, but it just doesn't happen.
You like what you like, honestly.
Yeah. Expanding can be tough, too. Yeah.
It's so bad when we have live events. I feel like I'm so not up to date on modern music, and we always have to have somebody like explain what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question for you guys is: you're going on a road trip. What are 3 songs that have to be in your playlist?
Ooh, okay. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you start.
Counting Worms by Knock Loose.
That's like a band favorite.
That's like our anthem. Like when we would record, when we would like be in the studio for either of the EPs we've tracked, that's what we play in the beginning of the day, and everyone just like fake moshes around the control room for like a hard minute, and then we like get into it. So definitely Counting Worms. Ready
for It by Taylor Swift. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Ready for It by Taylor Swift.
That song gets me so hyped.
I don't know. What's another classic that we play? Like
I feel like Beartooth has been like the Lions have been.
The Lions by Beartooth. What's like a classic we always play though?
A Day to Remember can get in there.
December by Neck Deep. Sorry, you said 3. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can both do 3, so 6.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, this is good.
Oh, dude, we're missing a huge one. Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Celine Dion.
My Heart Will Go
On by Celine Dion. We play that every single tour.
Oh, and what's the other song that we listened to a lot? It was something totally like spontaneous like that. What was the one that you were really into recently?
Oh, Bette Midler?
Yeah, Bette Midler, The Rose.
The Rose by Bette Midler, yeah. We'll go from like hardcore to like a classic pop punk jam, and then we'll like all cry for like 3 minutes. This will be like from city to city.
We have a very emotional bus.
Yeah.
So
what? There's 9.
Well, it's still a fun question. Honestly, I think lit road trips.
Yeah, thanks.
Get a little bit of everything.
My next question for you is: what is your writing process like?
You go ahead.
So, I feel like most of the time bands do the classic like vocal vocal melody over like a chord progression. We kind of do it a little backwards. Like me and one of the other members of our band, Ryan, he's our lead guitarist. We'll usually sit down. Well, one of us will sit down alone at first, and maybe just like write an intro with like guitar and like MIDI drums. We'll probably just write an intro, and then kind of develop like that one part, like either an intro or a chorus, like all musically. And we'll, if we're happy with an idea, we'll go like full on with it. Like we'll write a song start to finish only instrumentally, and then maybe it's we'll usually do the full song, or we'll do everything like up to a bridge, like the kind of fundamentals of the song, intro to bridge, or like full song, and then we'll completely finish it and then give it to Cora, and she'll develop like a first take vocal melody lyrics front to back, and then we'll go in and like
revamp everything,
do 100% vocal production from there. So we'll 9 out of 10 times we'll finish most of the song instrumentally before we even touch vocals.
Yeah, I think the only time we ever did that differently was our last song on our first EP. I wrote the guitars and vocals too, and I think that's the only exception to this. Yeah,
it's like a very different song for us. It's like an acoustic ballad, but most of the time with our full band writing, that's what we'll do. We'll finish the song instrumentally and then like go full on vocals.
Nice. I feel like that's different than a lot of bands I spoke to. So my next question for you is, what is your either favorite lyric, chord, progression, riff, or drum cadence that you've written?
For both of us, right?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay, you go.
No.
I can go first. I'm ready.
You go first.
There's a song, I think it's track 4 off of the last EP we put out, which is called Where I Came From. Track 4 is called Self-Assured. And I'm like a very, I'm not like, I wouldn't call myself like a technical drummer, but I think the drums that I like to play the most, I like to write the most, are like more technically based parts and fills. So I think in the first verse of Self-Assured, I think that's my favorite like structured part out of all our songs, and I'm like really love the drums I wrote for them and the fills. Yeah, I think that's my favorite.
There's like so many things that I like. Wow.
Second verse of In Between, isn't that one?
I love
because you curse.
Well, I guess in between I say like the pull of my sheets are stronger than me. I really like that. I think that kind of represents a lot of what people go through. Can I give like a spoiler?
Sure.
Okay, we have a song that we're working on, and I say, if you break the bones, the skin won't show like it used to. Layers of white over black and blue. And I just like have obsessed over that lyric that I wrote since I wrote it.
It's not out yet.
It's not out yet. It's not a song that's even like the demo isn't like done yet. I'm just really excited for it. So yeah, that's like my favorite.
I feel like that's such a relatable line, and we'll definitely connect with a lot of different people.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So, when you're going to the studio to record, do you have anything that you normally do to like prepare, or just kind of like spur of the moment, know what you're gonna do?
They prepare. I'm a pain in the neck.
What do I do to prepare? Me personally, I guess I like do a bunch of jumping jacks. I'll put on like a really like anthemic pop punk song and just like do a bunch of jumping jacks and like really like get myself going, get in the right mindset. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Coffee's big, because like we'll usually like we record like ourselves. We don't outsource for recording, so we do it in the school I go to. We record all our stuff in their studios. So, and it's very limited because it's like student run, it's student booked. So we'll have like 2 days at most to like, you know, do an entire EP or album worth of drums. So I have to usually bang out like 4 songs in a day.
Stretch.
So I really have to like work. You know what I mean? We can't just like mess around. So yeah, I guess like whatever I can do to like get the energy flowing and get amped up personally.
Everyone's so much better than me.
Cora shows up in pajamas.
I bring a pillow and a blanket. Like I'll sleep. I've slept in the studio. I've had very good sleeps in the studio because we would do these days where we would go in for like 14 hours. I was like, I'm going to take a nap. For me, if we have like a big shower, if we have recording coming up, I avoid like all dairy, alcohol, caffeine. I don't want anything to like dry my throat out or mess with my voice. I do this warm up. It's on YouTube. It's a 5-minute vocal warm up, and I do it twice. And it's this guy, and his videos have saved my life. I love him. Sorry.
No.
Do some like neck stretches. I whenever I record, I have to take off my shoes for some reason. We've realized if I have shoes on, I won't get a good take.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
I dance a lot in the studio and say silly things. I start to go like stir crazy. So I think I have to like mentally prepare myself to be in a box for a few hours. But I love it. So it's fine.
I feel like the shoes thing it's kind of common, at least like you can kind of feel the vibrations in a sense, like kind of feel the room.
Yeah.
That's way better. I was just like super stitched.
We discovered it like mid last year when we were just writing. Like I don't even think we were in the studio, but she was having a couple.
Was at Ryan's house?
Yeah, we were having like a couple like rough vocal takes. She was getting super in her head about it, and then she was just like, oh, I gotta like take off my shoes for whatever reason.
And I hate.
And then she like nailed the rest of the day. It was like one of the most progressive like writing days we've ever had. It was so funny. So we do that from now on.
Can you describe your sound for me in 3 words?
Garbage. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Energetic. Right?
Yeah, definitely energetic.
Upbeat. instrumentally upbeat though, not
yeah,
like
lyrically, most of my lyrics are very upsetting.
Yeah. So
or like angry.
But like as far as like the overall tone, I'd say upbeat, energetic, and like
new
modern.
Yeah, I guess modern is a good word.
Modern, yeah.
Because we don't have that like old school pop punk feel.
No, yeah.
We have definitely that like new, like age modern.
Modern, upbeat, energetic.
What artists inspire you to be a better musician?
You go ahead first.
I'd say State Champs, Stand Atlantic, Neck Deep. Those are my like go-to 3 inspirations, personally.
Everyone gives me hate for it, but I get a lot of my inspiration from Taylor Swift, which like I don't know. She's like my main inspiration for writing, performance, just everything that I do. Then I'd also have to say like I would say like an old school like rocker. I would say someone like Joan Jett or Janis Joplin, just because being a woman in a very male dominated music scene can be a little overwhelming. So I get that like confidence boost from watching like powerful women in the music industry. That's definitely a big one. I guess Taylor Swift fits into that too, but she's not Janis Joplin. And definitely say Champs. I mean, I love them. I think performance-wise, they really inspire me, but vocally too, definitely like melodies and stuff. I hear that and I'm like, I need to write something. And like I hear them and it's like, let's go.
I'll also add in from like a smaller, more like mid-tier band level. Our best friends in Goalkeeper. They're from Philadelphia, and they are just absolutely killing it. And they inspire me like on a daily basis, just from all the things they do.
That's so cute.
So yeah.
I'll have to check them out. So.
Yeah, definitely do. They're great.
I love the artist plugging artist thing, because then it's like, oh, okay,
yep.
Now I know.
Like from basically day one, they have been awesome to us, helped us out with booking, and like today they've just done like amazing things from like a local regional band.
They're also cuties.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the absolute best.
Every one of our like local or like I think all of our band friends, honestly, just like I could talk about them for hours. Like there's nothing better than touring with a group of people that you love and you just make these connections. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like thinking about all our band friends. I'm like, they're all so great.
What's the local scene like by you guys?
It's interesting. It's very traditional. Yeah. For like a local scene, especially like local pop punk scene. So we like I said before, we come from Long Island, which is like a very like huge local music market, especially in like pop punk, hardcore. And moving up to Yonkers and like starting a band up here like really took us by surprise, because it's much smaller, but I don't think it's smaller in the sense of there's less people that are into the local scene.
Just
I think it's a lot less bands and a lot less entities that are supporting the scene, like venues, like agencies, promoters. But I will say that there's, I don't know, 20 to 40 local bands that are really active around here, and every single one of them are so original.
Yeah, I mean,
they're so like you will not find 2 bands from this market that sound alike. It's crazy.
Well, also I think the support is really intense. I've never seen a scene that's so supportive of everyone. We've been on bills with people like from the Yonkers music scene, the Westchester music scene, and everyone comes out to these shows and everyone supports, even though a lot of these genres are very different. We've played with like metal bands and hardcore bands and alternative indie bands. It just you just have this like crazy support system, which is really nice, and everyone's always sharing each other's stuff and helping out when someone else is down. It's really really cool.
It's never
genuine. I love it.
It never gets boring too, because any local show we play around here, like Cora was just saying, there'll be a live looping punk band, Shakeout. I'm shouting out Shakeout right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Shakeout, Maintenance,
a thrash metal band, hard
Live Well,
band,
like everyone,
jazz rock. It's just awesome. So like the whole night goes on, and there's never the same sounding band.
Yeah, it's
that play.
It's really awesome. Cool. And everyone's so sweet.
Yeah. So it's really small. It's typically unknown, especially in like the regional touring market, but it is awesome. and we're super grateful.
And everyone's really good with how they promote themselves too. For like, you get like a very DIY feel, I think, a lot of the time, but everyone is so professional in the way that they manage themselves.
Yeah, there's nothing toxic. It's great. It's an awesome scene.
Yeah.
I love asking because where I'm from, there is like no scene. We're lucky if there's like one venue that supports bands. I think there is one venue.
I think we've gotten asked to play Staten Island once, and we couldn't swing it, unfortunately. But I'm curious. I was actually curious about that.
Our old roommate is from Staten Island.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Fun fact.
It's a small island.
Yeah.
So we have a question we've asked everyone we've interviewed. And the question is, what is your opinion of releasing an artist's unreleased music after they've passed away? Should it be released or should it not?
Oh.
Releasing an artist's unreleased music after they pass away.
I think if it was meant to be, like, I like put out, like if there were plans to put out the music, or if you like had their like family's blessing, maybe. I guess it depends on the situation.
I would say it depends on a couple of things. I would think it would depend on how, like what stage the unreleased music was in when they passed away, and if it was close to being released, then I would say anything that can be done to get it out there for their fans, to honor them.
They just
did
that with Mac Miller recently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know what my opinion would be if it was like just in writing, just in early stages, and if it like wasn't done being written or produced. I guess what I'm trying to say is if the person who wrote it and passed away thought that it was ready to be heard and wanted it to be heard, then yes. If not,
if you don't know, if you're unsure, then it's probably
touchy.
Not.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So we wanted to start this conversation because this has been happening a lot recently. Either with these like unreleased demo tracks that are kind of produced into full songs, or like Mac Miller's album, or just things like that. We kind of think it's important for artists to like either talk about it, maybe like put it in a contract, or figure out like what you guys would want to do and how your legacy would want to live on.
That's like a really good topic that I didn't even think about, because these things happen. Like, I guess it's like different, but my grandmother was an author and she was in the middle of a book before she passed away, and so they came to an agreement that a writing friend of hers who had similar writing style would help her finish the book if and when she did pass. And so that's what we're working on now. So I think like they had that agreement, and so people knew, and the fans of her books knew, so there was like that like mutual respect. So I feel like you would really want to put it in writing first, or like have an agreement of what you would do in that situation, because I never even thought about that.
Yeah, like if it were me, I'd probably want the same scenario. Like I'd want it to, at the very least, like go into the hands of someone we trusted and who someone we knew would do the right thing with whatever our unreleased music was.
I'm so anal about like my vocal takes though, so like in our demos I'm like, no, I hate this. So I would be like I would be like haunting everyone. Like, you can't listen to that.
No, I just thought that was a really good topic with it.
Okay. I've had people like turn around and be like, release everything of mine, like even like the notes in my phone. Yes.
No.
Yes, this is what people have told me. And then some people are like, nothing should be released. I want nothing. Or if the band like one person was like, if the band carries on, just don't use my voice. I was like, okay.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's like so many opinions on it, especially depending on like the person themselves.
It just, I think for us it would just really depend on what stage we were at, but I don't think.
I'm serious about the respect aspect, you know? So.
Yeah, I'd want whatever would be to release after we passed. I think I would just want to make sure it would be like a big bang. You know what I mean? I'd want it to have like a big impact on whatever like fan base, friends, family who followed us was. Yeah, I think that would be it.
So my next question for you is, what is one thing you would change about the music industry as it is today?
Streaming revenue. Not because we're in it for the money, don't get me wrong, but it's very, very, very hard as like an up-and-coming band to remain like financially stable and to have enough available time in the day to make everything happen.
And streams are so important to up and coming artists.
So important. Yeah, it's the whole music industry now. No one's really buying music anymore. So I think
CDs always.
I mean, I think because we like as like an artist standpoint, we fully rely on touring, shows, merch sales to make any sort of revenue back for the like all the hard work and the money we put into the band. So I think just like a higher cut of streaming revenue would be super, super helpful. And I know it's like in the process of becoming more of an artist focused like payout, but I think that would be my biggest thing. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. For me, I'm so strong on this, is definitely like the over sexualization of women in the scene. I kind of talk about it in our song Self Assured. I've been told by so many people, oh, well, sex sells. You should wear tighter clothes and you should dye your hair blonde and you should sing about sex and wear things that are showy on stage. And it's like, well, I don't feel like I have to do that. I would rather just it be about the music. If your style is like showy, then go for it. But you shouldn't like tell artists that that's what they have to do to make it. I hate that. I think it's really gross and disgusting. I get talked down to a lot. People definitely are. I've been kicked out of my own shows before. Actually, a couple of shows of mine just because I'm a woman.
From people like not believing she was like in the band. Like we would go in early for load in or sound check.
No, honey, no. You can't just be a merch girl. You have to actually be in the band. And it's like, oh, no. No. But I mean, just constantly being told that you have to over-sexualize yourself and you should post these type of things and you should wear these type of things and wear brighter, tighter clothes. It's just not my thing. I mean, the women that I look up to are women that don't do that too. I mean, like, look at Hayley Williams. She is like every single guy who's like in this like genre, that's like their crush. That's their like go-to. A lot of girls do. I have had like major crushes on like Taylor Momsen. Like, I don't know, but like Hayley Williams, she's like that big name in pop punk and she's like huge, like, but she never like, when they started their career, she wasn't wearing those like skimpy things and it just, I don't know, you don't need that to be attractive and you don't need that to, I just wish people would stop telling me that. I went on a rant and I didn't mean to. It gets really annoying and I'm really passionate about that. And I think that it's really damaging for young girls to be told that they have to do things that they aren't comfortable with in order to make it. And it happens so much.
My next question for you is, you were talking about CDs earlier. You mentioned, what is your favorite album in your personal collection?
Oh, God.
Wow, that's really hard.
I think I'm going to have to go. I'm like looking, I have like all my CDs like piled up in front of me. So I'm like looking, I'm like, what do I like? God, I like so much. I would have to say, I have like every John Mayer album, but I have his live album In Your Atmosphere is just, it's like him and like his trio, and it's just so raw and intimate, and just there's so much talent jam-packed in there, and there's blues and rock and pop. It's just like a whole mix of different sounds. It's just incredible. I would have to definitely put that, or I guess I don't know, I was thinking one of Vanessa Carlton's albums, but I don't know. I guess I would have to go with John Mayer. That's gonna be my top one.
For me, it would have to be Bayside Self-Titled.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's just all around my favorite front to back album. I can listen to it 10 times a day. It doesn't really have a whole, it's weird, it's kind of weird to say because it doesn't have a whole lot of inspiration on me personally as far as writing drums. It's just that album just is
kicks ass.
Yeah, it's just my all-time favorite record, like front to back. There's not like a second during that entire album where I'm like unhappy with the writing or anything. So yeah, Bayside Self-Titled for me.
I feel like this question like kind of reveals a lot about a person. It's pretty interesting because everyone has such different tastes, and like sometimes like what you're currently listening to is not your favorite personal collection piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's weird for us too because each member of our band, like I don't think we're like a 4-piece, and I don't think any of us, like I don't think any of our favorite genres are pop punk. Like I think
I love folk.
we all love pop punk.
Like
yeah,
the Lumineers and like.
I don't even think it's it's the favorite genre for any of our members, which is super
we
weird.
We love it with a passion.
Super
I think
weird.
we just love music with a passion. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
I know, it's okay.
You gave me that look.
So, yeah, it is interesting.
Okay. So my next question for you is, what is the weirdest or funniest question you've ever been asked before in an interview? And then I'm going to ask you to answer it.
Oh, we got asked a really weird question in Poughkeepsie on tour in August. Do you remember?
Was it when we were outside of the venue?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, God. There have been a lot of questions.
Although I might have to say the kitchen utensil one.
That was pretty interesting.
That might have been, but I feel like we got asked something really, really weird once. Like, not like creepy weird, but something that would just like, I had to take like 2 minutes to think about. But I don't think I can remember what it was.
I just like, I know that we're talking about like the band, but I'm thinking about like interview questions and like jobs and stuff. And I one time, I was prepared for it, but I panicked. I've done like the Miss New York pageants, and I was getting interviewed by like the top 10 like people, and they asked, what's your favorite food, which is like a basic question. And I said spaghetti tacos because they're like my favorite thing ever. And I panicked because they were like, well, who makes them? I was like, I don't know. They're like, well, who makes them for you? I was like, I don't know. I just was like, I panicked so hard, and that's all I can think of when I think of interview. It's like my panicked moment of who makes spaghetti tacos? Do I make them, or do I receive them?
That was the weirdest answer I've ever heard.
I know, that's why I thought of it.
I'm really bummed out. I know for a fact we got asked something super, super weird when we got interviewed during one of our tours, and I can't remember it for the life of me. But for this answer, I will say the kitchen utensil one, because that really had me like.
I never thought I could relate to a utensil so well.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, if Cora didn't answer for me, I probably just would have panicked and said like a fork. I don't know.
A spoon, because I like to cuddle.
Yeah, right. So yeah, and I've already answered that one, so
we'll just keep going to the next question.
Yeah.
Speaking of tours, what's your favorite venue that you've been to?
Played. Like
Knitting
played
Factory.
Like been to for a concert, or like venue that we played?
Played. Let's start with that.
So, yeah, I think you can go first.
Knitting Factory is definitely, I don't know if it was just because like they have like an actual like backstage and you're like, whoa, this is cool. I was like a nerd with that. I also really like, there's so many venues that have been so kind to us. I mean, I feel like all these venues have different reasonings for why I love them. Like we were talking about Goalkeeper before, we play at Creep Records in Philly a lot, and everyone is just so kind there. I think the vibe is just amazing.
Yeah,
That's definitely
place
up there. It's smaller. It's not like your average like big venue, but I love it. I love it so much.
I would say either, I think for like a venue, like for like being a venue, Knitting Factory, which we played 2 Sundays ago, or last Sunday for the first time. But yeah, Knitting Factory was like one of the most like incredible experiences for us as a band, and for me,
so good.
And for me personally. But I've seen so many of like my favorite bands growing up there, and like being able to like, you know, get the code for backstage, like walk out like on the stage was like, whoa. Like I was like,
there's like a special feeling you get. I was walking out with equipment and everyone in line was looking at me, and I was like, yeah, I'm backstage. Yeah, that's me.
So I'd say as a venue, Knitting Factory, but like Cora was saying, like for other reasons, like the staff or the promoter, I couldn't even answer because we've played so many venues between Canada and North Carolina at this point.
Canada. I didn't even take Canada into consideration.
Yeah, but we played so many venues, it's just hard to tell. But yeah, for venue perspective, Knitting Factory.
What was the place that we played in North Carolina that was like in a basement?
Kaboom Art Gallery in Garner.
I loved that place.
It was like the basement of an art gallery in the middle of like a one road like redneck town.
They pulled through.
And it was fantastic. Yeah, there was like no AC.
I have family members in North Carolina, maybe that's why. I don't know. It was hot, but I loved it.
So Knitting Factory is our answer.
Okay. My next question is, what's your favorite state that you've been to on a tour?
I'm going to say not a state, but a province, Ontario.
Okay. We love Canada.
Yeah, we went to, we did like 5 days in Southern Ontario for the first time in August. And that was like so fun. Like Ontario was amazing.
I love Ontario.
Yeah.
I loved our first ever show in Canada was in Toronto, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was just like that excitement. It was our first time out of the country. We were just like, Canada, yay! So I would definitely agree. Ontario is up there. I love
Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts and like Pennsylvania, stuff like that. Like Pennsylvania because we get to be with like friends and Ryan's family. I love North Carolina because I got to see my mom's side of the family and stay with her, so you get that like comfort level. But Canada just wins it every time.
Another one though is Maryland. We always have such a fun time in Baltimore. We have so many friends down there, and we've like established such a cool like group of friends from touring down there. So I think Maryland's a big one as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I have some Spitfire questions for you. So whatever comes to mind first, say it.
I'm scared.
I'm so pissed. Okay. Go for it.
Banana.
Okay, favorite color?
Blue.
Orange.
Favorite book?
The Hunger Games, the first one.
God, I haven't read a book in so long. Oh my God.
I'm reading 2 books right now.
Oh, I really don't know. Hungry Caterpillar?
Oh, I love the Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Very Hungry, yeah, that was a
the best book.
I think
Go Dog Go. I love Go Dog Go.
Okay.
That was cute. Okay. Favorite TV show?
The Office. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, Breaking Bad for me. No, you said The Office.
The Office. Okay, I take it. I take
Breaking
The Office.
Bad.
Favorite movie?
Oh God.
Okay. Just no judgment.
I got it.
No
the
judgment.
1970s musical version of Scrooge, starring Albert Finney. Boom.
And Step Brothers.
Okay. Well, you said your favorite food earlier, but favorite food's on the list.
Definitely spaghetti. Anything that's like carbs, like pizza, pasta, tacos, like donuts, cookies.
You're supposed to say one word.
Candy.
One word. Spaghetti
Sandwiches.
tacos, and then it's me. You say your thing, and then it's me. So spaghetti tacos, and then I'm chicken cutlet sandwich.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant? Oh God, Red Arrow Diner in New Hampshire has won my heart over.
TGI Fridays.
I love Fridays.
Okay.
Also, the Bronco Diner.
Cora, what?
Sorry. I love so much.
Okay. The next one's not a Spitfire. It's whatever you guys want to say. What are your goals for the new decade of 2020?
A lot. You want to go or you want me to go?
I definitely this is like personal and for the band. I want to work on like cardio, just like stamina in general. I shouldn't like go up a flight of stairs and be like, oh, I'm winded. So I'm good on stage with moving around, but it'd be nice to do that without being as out of breath. So definitely like work on my stamina, work on my vocals, be able to like I think I have a pretty decent range, but I want to expand it even more. Be kinder to myself. I feel like I beat down on myself a lot.
I don't really make long-term goals.
Stop interrupting people.
That's a big one. That would be huge. I don't really make long-term goals for anything other than the band. So all mine have to do with the band. But opening a slot on a national tour is like probably my biggest one. You know, I'm the whole like my whole like drive behind being associated with a band is touring and shows. That's like my whole thing. Like I love recording, I love writing, but like live shows is like my whole passion. So yeah, to be able to land an opening slot on a national tour would be huge for me.
Adopt a dog.
Okay. Up our stream numbers would be huge. Overall, just grow a fan base and connect and communicate with as many people in the industry globally as possible. Really, just all points growing our band for me.
So, what do you guys do when you're not writing music or performing?
So we both go to school. We live together. So we both work. I'm a live sound engineer. I work for like a corporate audio visual company, and I do other sorts of like freelance live sound gigs. So most of my time is taken up, and I'm also in the music program for Mercy. So most of my time is taken up by either, music or live sound, any sort of live entertainment thing. And yeah, we have family on Long Island, so we go out and visit. But most of it, I'd say, is working, school, and friends, social life.
I go to school for psychology, so I'm working on that constantly. But I love it. I love the brain and stuff. For work, I like walk dogs and sit dogs, feed dogs, and train dogs. I love dogs.
Just all things.
Just all things dogs. Yeah. So I spend a lot of my time just like traveling around different parts of Westchester, taking care of dogs, which I'm actually doing tonight. So I spend a lot of my time with animals. I love it. It's my favorite. So psychology, animals, music. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
And eating. We eat a lot of food.
Yeah. I also do like tour booking for other bands as well. So I do a little bit of that as well, like booking work.
Sick. Okay, and then I have one more thing for you guys. What is something you would like to tell your fans?
Thanks for giving us a chance. It can be a little bit daunting or even tedious sometimes for people to check out new bands, especially if they're not as known. People can be hesitant, so you make a world of a difference. It means so much that people will give us a chance and listen. I mean, just like the people that have come up to me in the past and have been like, your song did this for me, that for me, it means more than words can even explain. So thank you for giving us a shot.
Yeah, I think I'd also just do the generic thank you, just because, like Cora's saying, if no one supported us, if no one listened to our music, if no one bought tickets to our shows, came out to small local bars and basements when we're on tour, like, we would not literally be able to do this. For every t-shirt we sell, or for every person who streams our song, like, that's literally the only thing that keeps us going and is able to push us to print more merch and make more songs and go on more tours and add more people to our team. Like, that's really it. So just a huge thank you. And actually, yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.